Hello, welcome back to the A Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Amir Hamid. Joining me today will be Brant.
It's just me today.
I know,
That's
episode 50.
Should I give it a hey, how are you, or what?
It should be like in memoriam. Like I was rewatching the latest Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So like, you know, when they had the whole Whitney Houston song in Iron Man's Dead. Did you not?
I've seen it once, but it was a while ago.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the best superhero movies.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's been like every week that I'm just like, it's been a busy week.
Well, I feel like every week too, we're like, yeah, it's been a while since we've been together.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah.
It's been
we're busy. We're busy.
Well, we're busy. Sports is busy, but also a lot has happened.
Mm-hmm. A lot happens in the world.
Yeah. The Leafs won their best game of the year.
Yeah.
Beating Pittsburgh.
Oh, we haven't recorded since then?
Since Pittsburgh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, you haven't recorded since before that.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the last one me and Morrow talked about,
that was when they got.
We at least covered some of the trades of like Toffoli, Coleman, like that was
Dennis Malkin.
Yep, Mulligan.
Yeah.
But it's been since then, basically.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh game. So, that
game was good.
They play their best game ever.
Yeah.
Their best game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Saturday was the epitome of like why I was on the bandwagon of one, with all the injuries, it's just been the year from hell. Mm-hmm. So like I've just been on the bandwagon like this team can't win this year.
Mm-hmm.
And for Saturday to happen, I'm sure if anyone's listening to this knows what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
David Ayers, the Zamboni driver. They got beat by a Zamboni driver.
Little Steve Dangle for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I hate that narrative a little bit because, like, yeah, there was a Zamboni driver in the net, but I think Sheldon Keefe put it best when he's in his post-game presser when he's like, it didn't matter who they had in net. We were gonna lose anyways.
Yeah, because
they could have just not had a goalie. Yeah, they just got outplayed by the Carolina Hurricanes. They had 8 shots in 2 periods. You're not beating any team with that.
Yeah, Freddie gave up 6, but I'm like, which one would you have liked him to have? Like, and that's the shitty thing. Like, with goalies, you're like, oh, it'd be nice to have a save, but then I'm like, well, it's on your defense.
Nice to give him a hand.
We'll talk about the defense now of how fucking atrocious it is.
It's a mess.
How it looks now. It's brutal.
The one thing I laughed at was like people are looking at that game like, oh, we need to improve the defense. It's like you had 8 shots on net. Mm-hmm. You need to improve a lot more than just the defense. Like there's a problem here.
It's not just the defensemen.
No, there's a problem here.
The defense, like it's the whole team's defense of getting the puck back, being hard on the puck. Like it's simple. It's a simple idea.
Yeah.
So Saturday happens.
Yes.
And it's an absolute fucking tire fire in the city of Toronto. Like we were all texting, and we were basically all on the ledge, and I'm just like, yo, fuck this team. This team does not give a shit. Do not like. I was listening to the Chicklets podcast today because they posted with Matthews, and basically he was like, oh, Tyson Berry's like my neighbor and stuff. I'm like, fucking send a message and trade this guy. Like, what are we doing here?
I've heard some of the rhetoric. I don't want to see him go.
I've heard some of the rhetoric since like, oh, well, if you're going to trade one of the guys, you're probably trading Mitch. I'm like, okay, realistically, we're not trading any of the guys because you're not going to get a fair return.
You want to talk about Toronto falling apart after that game? There was someone that tweeted out, they're like, trade Matthews and Marner and Tavares. I'm like, okay, relax. Somebody goes, yeah, if you trade Matthews, you're going to fleece. If you trade Matthews to Arizona, you can fleece Arizona. I'm like,
for what?
Excuse me? You could trade Matthews for that entire roster and you're getting fleeced.
Yeah.
Like, there's not one player on that roster that you can fleece from Arizona.
Taylor Hall overrated. Like, ever since his heart year,
Heart season, he's been trash.
he's been disappointing as hell. He's
Yep.
been injured and just not good.
Yep. Fleece Arizona. I'm like, you can't. There's not enough assets on that team to fleece Arizona with Austin Matthews.
Overrated. He gets paid more than William Nylander.
Yep, and does less.
Captain at least
does less. Yep. Isn't as good.
Yeah. Oh, and I've hated the conversation. I think it was on Tim and said they were basically saying like, "Oh, William Nylander's making $9 million a year." I'm like, yeah, his salary is $9 million this year, but he's not. His cap hit isn't $9 million. It's 6.9. Like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? It was prorated and because of the bonus,
because he got 10.5 last year, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was making $15 million last year.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah. So
welcome to this year.
They get absolutely spanked by.
It was a bad game.
It was awful. So Dubas basically he confirmed after the trade deadline that he was like, I want to see the team get out of it. I'm not going to make like any moves to help them, which
I like that, man. I respect it, at least.
I agree and disagree.
Yeah. I can see where a lot of people would hate it.
Yeah.
I understand where, like, after watching a game like that, you want to see the team get better and you'd like to see him make moves to address it. But on the flip side, it's one of those things for me. It's like he shows that he has confidence in the group he put together. And if you're a guy on that team, you're like, you know what? He believes in us and he's sticking his neck out for us real far right now. Let's do something for this guy. Because I think they like Kyle Dubas and they like Sheldon Keefe. So I think if he's sticking his neck out like that for you, you're going to battle for the guy. And I think you kind of saw that on Tuesday a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Would it have helped to have a depth move made at the deadline?
And basically there was thoughts that they could have done that, and Dubas was just like, no, I'm not giving them that bolt, like that juice of energy that it provides from getting a trade in, because then it would just wash over like the negative feeling from Carolina that, oh, this new presence in our room. And basically that was like, if the Leafs could have traded for Joe Thornton, but like,
yeah,
I mean,
why?
Your players
why do you deserve it?
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't earned it.
And I think the most interesting thing from trade deadline was basically that, and I agree with Dubas here 100%, because he basically wasn't going to trade Barry if there was a scenario. He wasn't going to trade him just to trade him. He's only going to trade him if he got fair value.
The packages that Bob McKenzie was reporting for him?
Oh, like a second. And
it was so apparently it was the same. Not even. It was the same as
Sammy Vatanen
and who's the other one that went?
There
were two guys. Yeah, it might have been Dylan. Either way, there were two packages, and both of them was like a third and a prospect, and then the other one was a fourth and two.
And only like the seventh best prospect in the team system.
You got a fifth for retaining salary on what's his name, Robin Leonard. You're gonna trade Tyson Barrie for a third or a fourth.
Made no sense.
Here. You're better off just keeping Tyson Barrie. He's not that bad. The guy can put up points, and he's a really good offensive defenseman.
Yeah, and we can talk about it later, but the defense around him, I mean,
it's bad.
Is he the worst defenseman on the team? Yes.
Honestly, at this point, maybe not.
Yes.
Martin Marincin still exists.
I still think Martin Marincin is better than Tyson Barrie.
Martin Marincin comes anywhere near the puck, and I'm like, ah!
How do you like this comparison that I heard? Martin Marincin is the Frederick Gauthier of defense. Big for nothing. Yeah, he throws one hit against Tampa Bay, and
elephant size and zero puck. Or he's afraid of the puck or something. I don't know. I forget what the exact wording was, but yeah.
Yeah, he's bad. He's good with the puck outside of his zone, and then in the zone he just barfs on the ice.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, so the Leafs do nothing on trade deadline day, except they got value for Michael Hutchinson, which was shocking.
I'm surprised. Because Callie Rosen was like a little piece in that Nazem Kadri deal, but like he had a little bit of value to him.
You were still like a league min. I want him as a depth defenseman.
Yeah,
that's pretty nice.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm surprised they got that for Michael Hutchinson. For me, if I'm getting rid of Michael Hutchinson, it's like, you want to give us a sixth? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not bad. people were complaining about like how they didn't make a depth move so that when Muzzin goes down, they don't have anything. It's like this was the depth move. Like, what kind of depth move did you want to see that would replace
like
Jake Muzzin?
And that's the thing. You can't really blame. You can't blame Dubas at all because it's like you can't predict injuries.
No, exactly. Like you didn't expect your third D-man in a row now to go down until the playoffs.
So here's the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Could the Leafs make a trade because you can still trade for guys after the
is that a thing in the NHL though?
Yeah. Well, no one's really done it. But if you can trade for a depth D-man now with how bad your defense is, I don't think you can rule it out of the question. Like Friedman was talking about in his 31 thoughts, he was basically like Carolina, Toronto, and Vegas are like innovative front offices.
Yeah.
So would they not try to use this rule that basically
I didn't know it was a thing in the NHL, to be honest. I've seen it done in baseball. I think basketball's done it. I've never seen it done in the NHL. If Friedman said it, then I'm assuming
I'm
it's
just looking up exactly what he said.
Okay. Because I've never even heard of it. Like I knew it's a rule in other leagues, but I've just never heard of it in this one. Which, if it is, sure. I don't know who's available.
But yeah, like I think it makes sense to do. I don't know. Would you trade for Joe Thornton now? Like no, but
no.
With how bad that situation is, like let's talk about it later. All right, yeah. So the Leafs do nothing at trade deadline day, and I think it was the right thing to do not to trade Barrie for lesser value because it was brought up that it was like from the Brian Burke rule of school of trades, so where it's don't trade a guy for lesser value because other GMs will know you'll cave. Like it's more of a statement than
this is
trading him.
This is Cal Dubas throwing his nuts on the table and being like, "Get out of here, man! Like I'm not getting rid of guys just because you want him and he's a free agent."
No,
he's your own rental in a sense that like Tyson Barrie could turn it around and be that number 2 D man that he was in Colorado, and if he can figure that out and if you can pair him with the right guy going forward, then he's a big asset to a lot of teams.
Did this team deserve an own rental? Probably not. That was my whole standpoint.
Yeah.
They didn't deserve an own rental.
No.
But if they couldn't trade him for value, then it doesn't make sense to trade him because just take your shot. Because that was your whole thing all year. Your thing was we're trading for this guy. He's going to be an own rental.
Yeah.
And then all we're going to have for this trade is Kerfoot, which kind of sucks comparing it to Kadri. But like that was your shot. You took it. You could have had TJ Brody, but Kadri nixed that trade. I'm pretty sure it would have been Sam Bennett and Brody, and Bennett I think is better than Kerfoot.
Bennett's really defensively sound.
Is he?
Yeah. He's no longer like the top prospect scorer that he was when he came out of the O, but like he's really good in his own end. He's really gritty.
There's always been the infatuation over Sam Bennett with the Leafs organization, like since Dubas has really took over. So who knows if that sparks up again. But so the Leafs then right after the deadline at 3:30 or 3 o'clock, something like that. The Jake Muzzin deal gets announced. What was it? 5.465, something like that.
I think it was 5.6, but
645,
something like that.
Something along those lines. But regardless, I think it's fair term. And then when it was initially brought up that it was 4 years, I said if it's that last year and the Leafs are cap trapped, I'm sure that there's an understanding that Muzzin would go somewhere else. And also he's not expansion protected. So
no,
you could just lose him in 2 years and after next year if you really wanted to.
Yep.
You can expose him.
If he's that bad this year or next year, sorry. Just expose him and it's like here, take him.
And even if he's not, like I don't know. Is it the
depending on what your situation
is. Would you rather lose like a Kapanen or Janssen or a Jake Muzzin, which like
exactly.
A guy that's on the downturn or a guy that, could have a future with this team? Like ideally you would have. Ideally, if you're the Leafs, it's like, oh, Muzzin signs a 2-year deal, and we're laughing, but like they can't do that.
I'm okay with 4.
No, 4 is
like, I think
good.
that's fine.
3 is the best, but 4 is good.
Yeah. I don't think this is a Patrick Marleau situation where he's going to hurt you in that last couple of years.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine. I like the deal.
It would have been funny if the Leafs just traded for Marleau and Thornton, and we just like sup. Because like Marleau would have been on this team if the NHL wasn't stupid and allowed for, to go over your salary cap.
Luxury tax.
Yeah, exactly. For the good of the league. Who cares about balanced competition? Like, it's never balanced. Look at the
learn how to build a team.
Well, look at the teams in Florida, right? Florida, Nashville. There's no tax. Dallas, like.
Yep. Honestly, look at the MLB. They have that luxury tax system. Can you honestly say that league's not balanced?
No, the balance is no, absolutely.
Like, different teams are in the playoffs every year.
Even the NBA, with how they can go over into the luxury tax, it's the same thing. Like, it makes sense. So Muzzin signs the extension. The Leafs go on to play Tampa Bay. And
I had a conversation about this game before it happened. And a guy at work and I were talking about it. And he's like, I feel like the Leafs are going to come out tonight flying because they're embarrassed from their last game and they're going to beat Tampa.
And then fucking turtle.
But they're going to lose to Florida. He said, we're going to win the Tampa game and lose to Florida.
This Florida game tonight, we can talk about it again. But, like, it's the most important game of the season to date.
So was last one and the one before and the game before and the next game and the game after that. Like, they all seem to be the most important game of the season at this point. This one is huge.
This is huge. It's 4 points.
You can separate from Florida, which is something you desperately need to do right now.
Yep. Because does Florida have the tiebreaker?
Yeah, and they have the tiebreaker, yeah. Because they have more regular. Depending on how the rest of the season goes, right now they have more regulation wins.
Is that a tiebreaker?
Yeah, regulation overtime wins or something like that.
Should just be head-to-head record, honestly.
Which we'd still lose.
Yes, no. I understand that. What, they've won 2 games already against us?
Yeah, they're up 2-0 in the series.
Yeah, so that's brutal. So Tampa Bay happens. The Leafs come out fine.
Lying.
Yeah,
they were good.
And then fast forward to the third period.
The third was ugly.
A turtle.
Third was ugly.
Awful. Let me look up the shots on goal, but it was like
I think they had
20-2, basically. Like, not actually, but it certainly felt like that.
Yeah, not good.
And that's what I mean. Like,
it happens.
That's part of the defense.
You get that 2-goal lead and you kind of sit back a bit. And if you're doing that against a team like Tampa,
for the past 4 years.
Yeah, if you're doing that against a team like Tampa too, you're gonna get outshot by a lot. So I mean, it was okay. They came out with a win.
14-3.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
you outshoot them
if you come,
except for them.
Yeah, if you come out of that game with a win against Tampa Bay, who's been one of the hottest teams in the NHL, I really don't have much to complain about. Yes, it was a bad third, but they still beat Tampa Bay, which I don't think anyone actually had them pegged to do. I could foresee it, but nobody actually said, you know what, Toronto's going to come out here and beat Tampa Bay, because
that's what's maddening about this team, right? They can beat any team on a given night, and they, with also their effort, they could just get their doors blown off every and any night. Like, would you be shocked if the Leafs went into the playoffs into the first round and got swept? I would not, because this team is the most Jekyll and Hyde type team there is. Because if they lose a game 4-3, they're not going to come out the next game and have all this edge. But if they lose the game 6-3 to a backup goalie, now they're going to turn it on. Like, it's.
Would you also be surprised if they came out and they won 2 rounds?
A little, just because it'd be over Boston and Tampa.
I don't think I'd be as shocked as people are.
If they won Boston.
Well, the thing with me, so they just beat Tampa. They've shown they can do it. So maybe they beat them in a series because that's what it looks like right now. And then Boston, I don't have a lot of faith in Boston in the playoffs this year. They've gone on so many like ice cold streaks that they're just, I don't know what they can be in the playoffs. That's a long time to be good. And I could definitely foresee Boston falling apart at some point.
I like the trades they made though.
Who'd they bring in? They brought in
Kasha.
Nick Ritchie and Andre Kasha.
Yeah, I like that.
Nick Ritchie, they had nothing good to say about on Sportsnet. Not one of them. All four of them were like, yeah, he's not very good. Like, he's like, he doesn't try, there's no effort.
You remember when you wanted us to draft him over William Nylander? You guys remember that?
No.
Do you remember that, guys? Do you remember that, guys? So that's what I would have said if I was on that fucking set. If I was Dangle, they sent a hit to me. Remember when the Leafs got fucking trashed for taking Nylander over Nick Ritchie?
Yes, I don't know if Nick Ritchie's an upgrade over Danton Heinen, because that was that deal, right? Was it Heinen?
Yeah.
And then obviously
got rid of Backes.
Yeah, obviously Cash is a big upgrade over Backes, but I don't know. That team's not that much better than they were before the deadline.
It's an interesting team, man. Like that defense is ridiculous.
I can't confidently say they're one of the teams that I think is going to win the cup. Personally, I don't know. They're just so streaky. I don't know.
I like their odds more than the Leafs.
Yeah, sure. Because Toronto is also streaky, but we're streaky in the middle of the pack, not the top.
Yeah. So I've said it from the beginning, and now that we're on the Muzzin injury, like, this has been the year from hell. It really has. The injuries have never amounted to this much in the entire history of like the team in this iteration of it. And then you have like Babcock getting fired. You have the coaching change. You have Barry coming in, and then Kadri's doing well, but Barry's doing bad.
Yeah. So you start the year with Hyman and Dermott out for surgeries.
Yeah.
And then you do the Kadri deal, and it doesn't look like it's working out in the beginning because Barry had a real tough start. And then you fire Babcock. You lose Marner, Tavares, Mikheyev, Riley, Ceci, Muzzin, Janssen. Your backup goalie situation sucks. Am I missing something? Trevor Moore couldn't play.
He was hurt, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
No. He was concussed for that whole stretch. Am I missing anyone? I think that's
Mitch
it, right?
got injured.
Yeah, I said Mitch. For a month. Yeah. Like,
So
you've lost everyone.
Play Spezza.
Oh yeah, the Spezza situation, right? It's been a nightmare.
Yep.
Like, we're almost as rough as Pittsburgh right now.
And I would say it's worse just because Pittsburgh has learned to play
without
with the injuries, and also Malkin and Crosby are still Malkin.
They're both above anything we have.
Exactly. So
they lose Malkin, they still have Sidney Crosby, who's arguably still one of the best players in hockey.
And here's the thing:
like, you lose Sidney Crosby, you still have Evgeny Malkin, who's the 101st best NHL player of all time.
And that's the thing, like, they're wingers where I'm like, they're centers that's like, throw anyone on their wing and they'll become a 20-goal scorer.
Yep.
Like, they make
Connor Sheary is laughing right now because he's coming back to where he succeeded.
Line of Buffalo to the first line of Pittsburgh. He's laughing.
Back with Sidney Crosby where he had all of this success before. It's like,
exactly. Yeah.
Yay.
That was kind of weird, though, because Pittsburgh traded the best player in the trade.
Cahoon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he also might be the best player because he's playing on Pittsburgh and getting that bump.
Fair.
But
fair.
Rodriguez is pretty good, too, but he's hasn't done
line.
much in Buffalo.
He's playing on their third line right now, though.
He played with Jack Eichel in college, actually. And he was really good back then. Yeah. Is he the college or the USNT?
U.S. national team.
TDP. USNTDP.
National
Team Development Program. Yeah.
All right. So during the Leafs Tampa game, Greg Millen in the third period, when the Leafs are getting their fucking skulls caved in, it's Greg Millen, right? That was on the color.
Yeah, Greg Millen. I forget.
He's like, you have to admire this Leafs team. And I was just like, I was flipping back and forth from the Raptors game, mostly watching the Raptors game, but like I was recording the Leafs game so I can watch both.
Yeah.
And he says this, and I'm flabbergasted by this. You put together 2 good periods, and then you have to admire this team. You have and it's not like he said it once. He was like, "Oh, you have to admire this Leafs team with the effort they're giving." Blah blah blah. You have to admire this Leafs team. I was like, "What the fuck?"
I mean,
no, you
I can
don't.
I can see what he's
No,
saying.
you
Like,
very don't.
they did just get their skulls caved in last game, and they were embarrassed
But
around the
they're
world.
it was mid period of a dog shit fucking third period.
But they were really good in the first and second, and like that's where I'm like, you have to admire that effort.
Were they like Marner still is in a rut?
Yeah, but the rest of the team looked good.
Yeah,
For the most, Jake Muzzin was flying, dude. He had a breakaway.
Every
Jake
time
Muzzin had a
the
breakaway.
Leafs need a big every time they've been bad. The next game, Muzzin comes out. Was it the Pittsburgh game that he scored the first goal, and then this game? Like it's
Just
brutal.
Cannon, yeah.
Like he is the de facto captain on the team. Like it's crazy.
He's the leader of that team. He might not be the captain, but he's definitely the leader.
He's got the invisible C on his
I
chest.
would rip that A off of Mitch next year and put it on Muzzin in a heartbeat.
Probably, I'd rip it off Matthews too. Like Spezza and Jumbo Joe when you come in.
Yeah.
So I just think it's been the year from hell, and basically my NBA comparison that I have, a cross-bar comparison. The Leafs of the Philadelphia 76ers.
I was gonna say the Sixers or the Clippers because the Clippers are kind of under the same problem right now. Where
The Clippers, they have the talent. They just think that like they've won every championship, and the Leafs, like the reason why I say the Sixers and the Leafs have
paper.
Yeah,
on paper they're fantastic.
Exactly.
They just don't get it done.
They've never done anything. Like, yes, the Sixers made it to the second round. What they do, but basically, it's like, oh, can these players play together? That's the whole thing with the Sixers. Embiid and Simmons, can they coexist? And with the Leafs, it's basically the same thing. Oh, can you win with this style of play? I'm like, oh. Like it.
Yeah, I guess.
But they're 2 young teams, and they try to bring in older vets to try to make it work. And like the coach was bad, except Philly still has their coach with Brett Brown. They still have their Mike Babcock. They're waiting to get their Sheldon Keefe. Like, I think it's a pretty fair comparison.
I because when you put that in the notes, I was like, it's got to be the Sixers. I feel like they're
100%.
closely resembling the Sixers. I think the Sixers have a better chance of winning it all than the Leafs do.
They do not have a chance this year.
No,
they're like the 5th or 6th seed right now.
Yeah, 5.
Right now, 5.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Toronto's the 10th technically.
Oh,
like they're technically not even. Yeah. And they're not even in a playoff spot.
They're in a playoff spot. Aren't they in a playoff spot?
Like technically, if they go top 8 teams, they're not in a playoff spot.
Well,
like they're in one right now because of the really shitty layout of the playoffs. But
hey, and guess what? My feeling on the playoffs still stand. I'm not a hypocrite. The Leafs shouldn't be in the playoffs.
No, it's stupid. But they also fell victim to it last year, so I don't feel that bad.
Not really.
No.
The Leafs are still in a playoff spot. They're 2 points ahead of the Panthers. Florida. This is literally for the 3rd playoff spot tonight.
Yeah. No, this is a big game tonight. Yeah. I think that's an understatement, but yeah.
Yeah. We kind of talked about could the Leafs trade for a deputy man.
I kind of brushed over this. My favorite stat of the night on David Ayers win there. So David Ayers, after that game, has as many wins in 2020 as Henrik Lundqvist, Martin Jones, Jimmy Howard, and Corey Schneider.
Jeez, I have a better stat.
As many, if not more, is I
have a better stat / tweet.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Roberto Luongo.
Yep. Has less wins in Toronto than David Ayers.
That was great. I was just like, what?
He tweeted that out himself, right? I think that was that's so funny.
I was like, this is incredible.
Hilarious.
I could not believe it. So the projected defense on this team.
Yep.
It's 5 AHL players and an ECHL player defensively.
I mean, Tyson Berry's an NHL player.
I said ECHL player defensively.
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought we were calling someone else an ECHL guy, but yeah, no.
No.
NHL all-star talent offensively.
Yeah.
And
yeah. But this team problem is not offense. So right now you got Dermot Hall, Sandine Barry, which I do not like that pairing whatsoever. Put fucking Martin Marincin with Tyson Barry. No. I'm not even kidding.
No, they tried that and it's a nightmare. I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like it. I just take Martin Marincin off the ice. I'm sorry, that guy cannot do a damn thing with the puck.
I'm not opposed to Calle Rosen being in.
I would rather Calle Rosen than Martin Marincin.
And then the third pairing of Marincin Liljegren. It's 5 AHLers, 5 former Marlies playing.
Their Heart of Lad tweeted out. Heart of Lad tweeted out. They have 5 of the 6 defensemen from their Calder Cup run last year.
Yeah,
or 2 years ago.
Minus Vincent Laverde.
Laverde is the only one.
Unreal.
That's frightening.
Which is part of the reason I was also like, let's trade Barry. Like,
yeah. I mean, once you get healthy, though, like I don't think they're far off from having their.
How much do the Leafs even miss like a Cody Ceci right now?
A lot. People were shredding Cody Ceci when he was playing. I was sitting there like
first pair on the penalty kill.
I was sitting there like it could be a lot worse. Like Cody Ceci's not great, and his contract sucks, but he's still a viable NHL defenseman. He's better than anything we have right now, other than Tyson Barrie. I put Tyson Barrie above himself.
Not defensively,
but he brings more to this team. Because Cody Ceci's still not great defensively, but at least Tyson Barrie has 40
throw
points
him
or
out there in those minutes, though. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, who's your 4 penalty killing D-men right now? Hall?
Mm-hmm.
Dermott?
No.
He had to do it last game.
Marincin is one of them, which is shocking.
And then I think it was Sandine.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so bad. That's why I'm legitimately like,
no, don't take penalties.
Bogosian, you shot a puck into Braden Point's nuts, but like, let's get it going.
Yikes, man. I'm frightened.
And even before this, I was like, Sandine is not ready for the show. Like with the minutes that he was playing before.
Yeah.
Even like if you're talking about like a championship level team, I don't even think that he's ready for a third pairing role.
He's really good puck mover.
No,
which we don't need.
Exactly. You don't need it.
No. Not this team anyways. There's teams that could use him. He would be a helpful option on a lot of teams.
Well, that was my whole thing with Barry, with you know, having guys like Barry Riley. Like it's nice to have these offensive defensemen, but you can't have.
You need someone to play defense. You can have 3. You can have 1 on each pair.
If that, like 3 even seems like much to me, because you have to have 2 guys can be responsibly defensively with them. Like, can you pair Jake Muzzin with Tyson Barrie?
I think so, but
I mean, it didn't work for the whole first half.
It didn't work when he was with Mike Babcock, and it was a completely different game.
Mike Babcock,
and it didn't work for them, and I don't. Yeah,
Tyson stay at the blue line.
That's what I mean. He was trying to get a fish to climb a tree. I said that about 14 times, and that's what Tyson Barrie was with Mike Babcock. I think it's a different story now, which we won't know because they can't play together. But
it's just absolutely like heartbreaking how bad this team's been hit. Like it's not even the fact that like, hey, take forwards out of the lineup. Sure, fine, whatever.
Yeah,
but
that's where the depth is.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. I think that Riley's gonna come back too soon. Whenever it is, because of these injuries
from a broken foot.
I think so.
I don't think so.
Like
I don't think it's gonna. It's not like a ligament thing where like, it's gonna keep hurting him.
It could be healed, but like it can be healed, and he'll jump right back on the ice and into a game, which like without getting prepared.
Well, he's already been skating, right? So he's working his way back.
It just feels like it's a gut feel for me where I'm just like, Morgan Riley's going to feel pressure to come back, and then he
I'm
will
okay. I'm okay with Morgan Riley coming back because it's a broken bone. They heal once they're healed. They're healed. They're not gonna. You're not gonna re-break it unless it's like
No, but it's also
not
just
healed.
like getting them back to speed and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Okay, that's fair. But would you rather have Morgan Riley at 75%
No, I agree.
or anyone on the defense right now?
Martin
Gonna
Richard
get
at
to 100.
100% or Morgan Riley at,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
they can get back to 100 this season.
No, but
personally.
he's gonna get close to that.
He's better than anyone you got.
Yeah. He's gonna start better than everyone you have, regardless of what percentage he's at. So I don't really care if he comes back early. Guys like Mikheyev coming back early, like that's a surgically repaired wrist.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to rush.
I would kind of be I would like Mikheyev to be back. I really would.
But the guy was not a great shooter to begin with, and not very good with the puck. You don't want to rush his wrist because that's a pretty key component.
Yeah. It'd be nice just to put him on the first line with Matthews and Marner and be like, hey, just be out there with them. Skate with them. That's all you need to do, really.
I don't want another Zach Hyman in our top 6. I'm sorry.
Well,
that guy kills every rush.
You got him. So
I know, and I don't like it. He kills every rush. Whether the puck ends up.
What did Zach Hyman do to you? Whose girl did Zach?
I love Zach Hyman the player. I love Zach Hyman the player. What he's getting paid and what he does for this team is great for a third line role. Zach Hyman cannot handle a puck worth shit, like at all. He literally every rush up the ice either ends with Zach Hyman losing the puck or Zach Hyman putting it in the back of the net because he just stands in the right spot and tips it in. But like it's those ones that he loses it at the blue line and it comes back the other way that I cannot stand. Keep him on the third where you don't need this high scoring guy and he can just grind and keep the other teams preoccupied. And then put a guy like Jason Spezza who has ridiculous offensive talent with the other 2 offensive talents so they can just pass the puck around and never worry about giving them the puck.
I disagree.
I can't stand these high talented rushes being stopped by Zach Hyman because he just I'm like, holy fuck, dude. It's just painful. I can't.
So moving on. Jumbo Joe to Toronto.
Okay. I'm here for it.
Sounds like it's a thing.
In the offseason?
It could have been a thing. It could have been a thing at the trade deadline, and Dubas is just like, no.
I put that in my article, Jumbo Joe.
Yeah.
Would have been fun.
But basically,
he would have been a great 4th line center on this team.
Wouldn't he have been the 3rd line center?
I'd still put Jason Spezza or Alex Kerfoot above him this year, but
I think you move Kerfoot to up to wing, I guess, then in that scenario.
I would go.
Could you put Jumbo with Matthews and Marner? I'm just throwing it up. I'm just throwing it. Well, that's why you have 2 fast guys.
Yeah, but he just doesn't keep up.
But he's just throwing Matthews the puck. What if you put Tavares back with Marner?
He's a really good passer, so I guess that does help.
That's what I mean.
Once he catches up to them and they give him the puck, then he could probably set someone up. Maybe. I wouldn't like it, but you could, in theory. I don't think it's the best option.
I don't know. I kind of like Spezza. I would like Jumbo Joe with Kapanen. Set him up for
so slow.
What?
Like Kapanen's the fastest guy in your team, and you're gonna put him with this boat anchor. Like I would like. I've said this a couple times now. I'd like to see Kapanen with Clifford, and then
so I don't know who
I don't know who would center that line, but like Clifford's a good skater. He's not Kapanen fast, but he's a good skater.
Yeah, he's not a detriment to the team.
Throw them together, just let them wreak havoc on the third. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Who's the center on that line? Kerfoot then?
I think because Kerfoot's also
it's a weird fit with Kerfoot if you put Clifford on a line with him. I don't know why. It just seems weird for me.
Kerfoot can also be a
better player at center. He really is.
Yeah. I would do Kerfoot, Clifford, and then I think I want Spezza in the top 6 just because you need offensive help there. You don't need defensive help.
My thing was why if Nylander's playing left wing, why isn't Kapanen in the top 6?
That was my first thing. Is like if you want, because Willie can play the left, throw Cap on the right. Cap couldn't play the left.
Yep.
Cap's really good on the right, and I think if you put him with those two, as he's playing right now, he's gonna get you the puck because that guy's battling in the corners and he's hitting guys. He can play a better Zach Hyman role. He's not as good as Zach Hyman along the board, but he can get
Hyman
the puck.
Would be on the first line then, but yes,
he wouldn't be. Oh, what are we considering the first line?
No, he would be. He'd be with Matthews and Marner.
I put Matthews, Willie, Cap. I'm sick of Matthews and Marner. It's not working.
To get them out of the rut, Marner out of the rut. Sure,
Marner's been bad for 3 weeks.
Yeah,
not even like okay. He's been bad. Like he's been coughing the puck up way too much. Even if he's scoring,
this would have been the time where like Babcock put Matthews, Hyman, Brown together.
Marner on the fourth. Yeah. Remember those days?
Yeah.
Yikes.
You remember that video from Nick Kyprios where it's like Marner is not long for this team. When are the Leafs going to trade Mitch Marner?
Kipper was there's a reason Kipper doesn't have a job.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go rapid fire quickly on the trades.
Okay.
So
first and foremost, lose a horrible GM.
Oh,
I don't think that's a hot take.
We'll discuss that in a minute. All right, Boston acquires Andre Kasha in exchange for Backus and a first round pick and a prospect. Kind of brutal that the fact that Boston could just get rid of Backus and also acquire Kasha for a first round pick.
Yeah,
sucks.
Everyone compares it to the Marleau deal. For me, Marleau didn't want to play anywhere. He was only playing in Toronto or San Jose, so you had to give up assets to get rid of Marleau.
Anaheim that team had to buy him wants Backus.
Backus can play. Backus is going to play for 2 more years or whatever it is.
Yeah, this and next.
Yeah.
Cody Eakin to the Jets. Kovalchuk to the Caps.
Also, I find that kind of weird. I mean,
are you kidding me?
I find it weird. They're both. I know, but they're both right-handed shooters.
The Putin line.
They're both right-handed shooters. Like I don't really understand. Yeah. So does Kovalchuk, is he not?
No, he plays right.
He also has that one-timer on him.
Yeah, but you're putting him on the right.
I just find it weird.
It's not weird. I was kind of hyped when that I was just like, oh,
it's nice. He'll be.
They're not putting them together. They're not putting them together right now.
No, I wouldn't.
It's still Ovi Kuz, Tom Wilson.
Yeah, you don't fuck.
Grana, Backstrom, Oshie, Hagelin, Eller, Kovalchuk.
Third line? Yeah, because their fourth line's been really good. Surprising.
Panic, Dowd, Hathaway.
It's been really good. not with that 3, but like they're at times. Yeah.
Also, with the Brendan Dillon trade, I do not want to play Washington whatsoever.
No, especially after what he did to Matthews.
The dirtbags that they have on their team. Tom Wilson, Brendan Dillon, Radko Gudas.
Oh, I forgot.
Ovi?
Ovi's can be. He's not anymore as much as he used to. He can be. He still has it in him.
He's in the playoffs. He hits.
Yeah.
I would not like to play that team.
However, their goaltending situation scares me.
Yeah, I think Samsonov's the goalie there. Like
he is, but like
I dropped Holtby and fantasy everywhere because
Holtby's so bad.
Sucked.
But how confident are you in Samsonov in the playoffs? He's a rookie.
Yeah.
You have no idea what he can be, right? So that's the only. If he's good, they could win the cup easily. Yeah. But if he's not, they scare me.
Yeah. Nemestikov to Colorado for a 4th rounder in 2021. That's a good pickup.
Solid pickup for a 4th.
Pajot.
Okay.
So this is the deal that you had a problem with?
I had a problem with this and then them trying to pick up Parise. But like every move that Lou made, I'm like, huh?
I have no problem with
Dude, a first, a second, and a third for JG Pajot is frightening. Like, I understand they extended him, but he's had one good year.
Yep.
And you gave up 3 draft picks, including a first and a second. You're telling me he's just going to plug into that system and do the same thing everybody else does. You're telling me you couldn't find a cheaper option for that?
Hey, 1 goal, 1 game, 17 pims.
You had 17? Oh, because he had that fight.
The match, I guess. Or no, instigator fight. Or,
yeah.
15? No, fighting's not
I don't know where the 10 comes from. Fighting is 5, instigator's 2.
Yeah.
I don't know where the 10 came from.
It's going to be a match penalty then.
Probably an unsportsman, like, I don't know.
No, it's a match. It's a match. It'd be a match then.
Either way, that's probably all the same issue. Yep. Either way, a first, a second, and a third for a guy you're just going to plug into your system, the same as everybody else. That's a lot. And then on top of that, every rumor in the world is saying you're trying to get Zach Parise.
Yep.
Like, what?
All right, let me defend the Pajot move at least.
Okay. Yep.
He turns it on in the playoffs.
He is really good in the playoffs.
19 goals in 8 games in their
but scoring is bad for Barry Trotz apparently because they benched Matt Barzal when he scored 2 or had 3 assists or whatever it was, and he was trying to do too much offensively.
He's like he's been like a 30-point guy.
Yeah.
But he's on pace for 50, like over 50 this year.
That's it.
He's at 41 right now. I mean, he's gonna get over 50.
Oh, that's not good. A first, a second. Yeah, the contract's good. A first, a second, and a third.
I think that's what you got to look at is the contract. Like, would you not trade that for a
control
your second or third line center? Like that's third line center money. Like, let's not forget Tyler Bozak is making $5 million right now. You'd rather have Pajot because Pajot kills penalties, correct? I'm pretty.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really good defensively, is what I've heard.
He was like a third, fourth line grinder, like coming into the year.
Forever.
Yeah, and then they give him an A, and I'm like, oh, okay. But why is he on your third? Put him on your first.
I was surprised.
Why doesn't Ottawa give him that contract?
I was kind of thinking the same thing. I was surprised they didn't send him off as a rental and then give him that contract in the offseason because he wanted to come back to Ottawa.
Yeah,
it's weird.
That's brutal because he's a local guy, and then you do that like he's born in Ottawa.
Yeah, it'll be fun to see what they do with Borowiecki.
Okay, who's the vets on this team that you're gonna pay?
Mark Borowiecki.
Or what?
Borowiecki. Borokop. Did you see? Did you hear Brady Tkachuk when he was talking about him on Spit and Chicklets? They asked him, "It's just like, how do you pronounce it?" He goes, "Borokop." Borokop. That's so funny.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the acquisition price if you re-sign him to that contract, and the contract isn't bad. The fucking problem I have is the Parise deal.
Like, here's the thing: like, whether or not you agree with the acquisition price of Pajot, it's arguable. It's one of those things that you're like,
when the fact that he's gonna be there for the next,
but it's one of those things. It's one of those things that you're like, it's interesting. It's a bold play. Parise on top of that is like, that's fucking horrible.
He does have 21 goals this year, which, but Parise he's getting paid for the rest of the eternity. Parise, yeah,
till he dies, till we die. I think.
Yep. Probably.
And a lot of money. It's like 8, isn't it? I think.
It's a lot.
I'm pretty sure it's 8. That's a lot of money for a guy that doesn't do anything.
No. Like,
you know who else has 21 goals this year? Blake Coleman.
And had 21 goals actually good.
Yeah.
Like, if I told you how big do you think Zach Parise is? Like
5'11".
Yeah. But people would think he's like, oh, he's 6'2", he hits. Not really.
He doesn't really do much. Zach Parise in his prime was an incredible hockey player.
Yep.
The numbers aren't really there for him, but like he was an incredible hockey player. And
it's kind of unreal that they paid that much for a guy that's the most goals he has is he had one sick year with New Jersey.
Yeah.
45
incredible
goals,
hockey
49
player.
assists, 94 points. Like
incredible hockey player in his prime. Yeah. And then signed that contract and just went woo. Real quick.
Was it a 14-year deal? How long were the deals?
I think that one was 13.
It was the same exact deal that they gave Suter and Parise, which is unbelievable.
Because Kovalchuk's was like 17, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
I think it was less than that.
Regardless, he's getting paid till 25, 26.
Oh, 13-year deals.
Yeah.
13 years, 98 million.
Yikes.
Thank God they changed that. Holy.
It just made no sense. Even if you're taking on 3 years of Andrew Ladd salary, which Minnesota would be.
Mm-hmm. It makes no sense.
If you're the Islanders, why do you do that?
You can never look at me and tell me that Lou Lamoriello would be a better GM for this team than Kyle Dubas.
No, I was listening to the Steve Dangle podcast from yesterday, and it was basically like, no, Lou would be a great president of a team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
It's still a culture. Like, if Lou was on this team still as a president, I would much rather that. But as a GM, he's not good. He gave out Zaitse's contract. He signed Marleau to that 3-year deal.
He had 9 months to negotiate with William Nylander. 9 months.
Yep. And he didn't do it either. Facts are facts.
Don't tell me that he would have done a better job negotiating. He didn't negotiate. He just straight up wouldn't talk to William Nylander, wouldn't give him a deal. So he gave Kyle Dubas, what was it, 3 months before the season started? And then, is it 3 into the season?
Yep.
Kyle Dubas had less time to negotiate with William Nylander than Lou Lamoriello did. And Kyle Dubas still gave him a fantastic deal for us.
Yep.
And him. It's a value deal.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Lamoriello is just not a good GM anymore.
Nope.
Was he once? Yes. Is he now? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Get out of my face with that.
No,
the Islanders might fall out of the playoffs.
He could have signed. Was he still with the Devils in 2012?
Yes. He signed the Kovalchuk deal.
He could have signed the Parise deal.
Yeah. He signed the Kovalchuk deal, man. That 17-year whatever it was. He signed that stupid ass deal. Tell me right now
that he get out of that exactly. I'm not.
The what, sir?
How'd they get out of that?
He didn't want to play, so he just took the year off and went to the KHL for the right amount of years. And then once his deal got
expired,
what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it not even expired. It just like it became like void. Yeah, that he was allowed to come back after a certain amount of years.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he get the? That's one of the weirder things to ever happen in the NHL, to be honest. Also, Kovalchuk's a right shot. So he does play right. Oh yeah. You're right.
They both play on the left side because they're both one-time specialists. I just find it a weird fit.
Yeah. I think this was the weirdest move of the trade deadline. Carolina acquires Vincent Trocheck in exchange for Haula, Walmart, and 2 prospects.
Carolina had a day.
Haula's a free agent at the end of the year. He was a fine third-line center. Fine.
Yep.
Serviceable. Good.
Florida got no better on trade deadline day.
No.
They stayed exactly the same.
Yep. Who'd they get?
Walmart and Haula.
Paula? Ain't no Paula back there.
We them boys.
Like, I like Trocheck. He hasn't been good in a couple of years, but I still like him. I like
him more than Haula and Walmart.
100%. And the fact that he has term, like, he at least has this and next year, I think.
Apparently that frisky
front office,
or apparently he's really good.
Him and Quinville.
Apparently that frisky kid can play, but I don't know. He's a rookie in college right now, or something like that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about frisky between Trocheck and
no. What the hell?
Got 3 more years at 4.75. Like, that's good still, even with how he's been playing.
That's Trocheck?
Yep.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. I think Carolina had one of the best deadline days.
Yeah, dude. They had to, because they lost both their goalies for long term and Brett Pesce. So it's one of those things.
We'll talk about it with the last trade, the one trade they should have made. But they Colorado Avalanche trade Michael Hutchins to the Leafs for Callie Rosen. Nate Thompson to the Flyers.
Philly got bigger and tougher because they got Derek Grant.
To the Flyers, yeah. Pittsburgh, Patrick Marleau for a third, conditional third.
Sheary and Rodriguez for Cahoon. And that was it, right?
Yep.
There was no picks in that deal?
Yep.
I think did we mention Wayne Simmons? Or are you going to get
is the next one. Wayne Simmons to the Sabres for a 2021 conditional fifth.
Thank you. I forget who it was, but they their quote was just like the where do you come from? Oh, New Jersey. They said New Jersey should have shown Wayne Simmons a little more respect by trading him to not Buffalo. Yeah,
free agents are gonna want to come there now.
Yikes!
It's weird from Buffalo's standpoint.
It makes no sense.
Like, why?
You took on half of a bad contract to pick up someone who's not good this year and not going to help your team, and you're 8 points out of it.
Yep.
Excuse me.
And then
you sell.
That shot. Like,
and you also sell Sheary and Rodriguez, though.
Yep, makes no sense. If you're the Leafs, could you have taken that shot like as a fourth liner on your team?
He's not good. He is not.
Yeah, but as a fourth liner and like just gritty guy.
Okay.
Would you rather him or Mulligan?
Well, Mulligan's not playing on your fourth.
He's playing there right now. They have Spezza on the first right now.
What did Buffalo give up for thing?
Of conditional fifth in 2021.
Then yeah, I'd do that deal.
Exactly. It just made no sense why Buffalo's doing it. No. In my opinion.
They're 8 points out.
Yeah.
With Florida in between them for sure. Oh, and Montreal. Florida and Montreal are both in between them.
Exactly. Makes no sense.
You have to leapfrog 2 teams to get to that.
Yeah. Andreas Athanasiou and Ryan
love the pickup for Edmonton. Edmonton had a good day.
Edmonton had a fucking great day. They got 2 forwards to play with McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
They
are literally their first
and a fourth or fifth.
Yeah. That's literally their first line right now is the 2 guys they picked up and McDavid.
I don't understand why they didn't do like try to trade for Connor Brown, put him with McDavid. Like, it's just serviceable forward. Just put him with McDavid and do the same with Draisaitl, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. No, that Draisaitl line's working.
Who's on it?
It was Yamamoto, but I think he's out.
Yep. He's hurt now.
I forget who the other one was, but when McDavid went down, that line was buzzing. So
Nuge?
Might have been Nuge.
But like, you have serviceable players now. I think Edmonton could do well in the playoffs.
Okay. They look okay.
Okay, but like, look, let me tell you the top 6 right now.
You have
I would assume when Cassian's healthy, would be in here over Alex Chason, but it's Ennis, McDavid, Athanasiou, Nuge, Draisaitl, Cassian.
Even like their bottom 6 isn't that bad anymore.
The third line is Riley Sheehan, Jujhar Khaira, and Josh Archibald.
James Neal when he comes back.
True.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you pull Cashin down because I think Kyler Yamamoto fits in that.
Agreed. Like, that's okay.
And then you have Sheehan, Neal, and Cashin.
Yeah.
And now you have Cashin in a role.
Like 7 or 8 competent forwards now.
Yeah. I think they look okay. They look a lot better than when they started the year. On top of that, they picked up Mike Green, which Mike Green's obviously not Mike Green anymore. But
they need a power play guy, so it makes sense.
He can do it. Once they get Klefbom back, they're okay.
They could make it. Would it shock you if Edmonton wins the cup this year?
Yes.
Not really.
It would shock me.
They have 2 of the best players in the league.
Yeah, but they also have dog shit goaltending.
Yeah, fair.
Mike
Smith
on his head. You need 2010 Mike Smith or whatever year that was. 2012 Mike Smith.
10 years ago. Holy shit. That's kind of unreal. So yeah, the Athanasiou trade, Nick Ritchie for Dan Heinen.
That one.
The Juice for a
Christian Juice.
Yeah, no, Emil Juice.
Never mind. Yeah. Sonny Milano went somewhere.
Sheary Rodriguez for Cahoon, Louis Domingue for Zach McIntyre. Don't even know who that is. Nick Cousins to Vegas. Derek Forbert to the Flames.
Calgary.
Tyler Ennis for a conditional 2021 fifth.
That's a big pick.
It's a great pickup.
They did good.
Yeah. Gustafson for a third. Gustafson was
also
the guy,
good.
the other guy that we were talking about with like the Barry acquisition price. It was like a third and a prospect. That would have been for Barry, which makes no sense. Yeah, Milano got traded. Daniel Sprong got traded.
The most forgetful prospect in forgettable prospect in Pittsburgh history.
Yeah. Okay. Vatanen to Carolina for two prospects and a conditional fourth.
Sure.
I thought it was a second.
Fourth.
What the fuck? Why didn't we trade for Sammy Vatanen?
Yeah, that was the package that was offered for Barry.
That's crazy.
Get out of here with that. Robin
Leonard. That's the trade Carolina should have made.
Yeah.
A second round pick, Subban, and
it's retained.
Yeah. Carolina could have potentially won a cup this year if they had done this move.
Toronto could have done this move.
Nah, relax. Why would Toronto have done that?
Before Jack Campbell?
Oh, 100%. But like they weren't trading him then for that price. Like that price fell down.
Yeah.
Because Chicago was gonna re-sign him, but then they were like they didn't want to go more than 2 years on him, which I'd go more than 2 years on Robin Leonard right now.
I would bet my money on him in a heartbeat.
2 really good years in a row. Like, why doesn't Buffalo?
I don't think this is a fluke anymore.
Yeah, agreed. And Brady Shea from the Rangers to Carolina for a first rounder.
Brady Shea came out of nowhere this deal. I was just like, oh, because the Rangers had a weird day because they re-signed Kreider.
Why?
Which whatever you think of that.
That's the player that you get to like supplement your rebuild.
See, but like their rebuild is near completion in my eyes because they are where the Leafs were when they first had that playoff run against Washington. Like they are there because they are 2 or 4 points out of the playoffs.
I don't think that this core has enough, in my opinion.
I think any team that has Igor Shesterkin and Alex Georgiev behind them has a really good shot because they're both incredible goaltenders. Artemi Panarin is going to contend for the Hart Trophy this year.
Do you trust Ryan Strome is this good, or is he just playing with Artemi Panarin?
I think he's just playing with Artemi Panarin.
Okay, so then
Panarin makes guys better. Like
but I think you're relying too much on Zibanejad then.
Who's quietly underrated.
No, he's still underrated. He's unreal. That's another guy Ottawa fucking got rid of. Yeah. Why?
Imagine if Ottawa just never made trades.
Exactly. Well, they could end up with the first and second pick in the draft. Did you hear this? That Ottawa could have the first, second, and fourth pick in the draft?
Because if the Islanders fall down, they don't
win the lottery, but they get the fourth pick in the lottery. That's kind of crazy.
Good for Ottawa. I hope New York falls down.
Capo's got to hit if this team wants to get.
Yeah. I think they're close. But then you make that Shea move, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, it makes no sense. Adam Fox is legit, though.
Yeah. So is Tony DeAngelo.
He's on your third pair, though.
Yeah. Team's good. Defense is good. Jacob Trouba's there. I don't know who their other guy. Buchnevich is there.
Pavel Buchnevich.
Who him and Shesterkin got in a car accident, which is we don't need to talk deeply on that, but that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Glad to hear they're okay.
For sure. Well, that's all the trades.
Yeah.
Let's fly through the rest of this pod. I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
Yep.
So the Raptors play the Bucks. Oh, first they blow out the Pacers early in the week by 40
record setting, right?
47 points. I was hoping for 50. So goddamn bad. Yeah. And then they get mollywopped by the Raptors, the Pacers do. and then they go play the 1 versus 2 seed, the Raptors versus Bucks. Raptors come out great. They're playing Matt Thomas. Matt Thomas is draining threes. I fucking love Matt Thomas.
Matt Thomas
He's like
quietly.
he's like our own JJ Redick, and it's great.
I was gonna say Caruso, but yeah.
No. Caruso's garbage. Caruso's like poor man's like I'm trying to think of a player that you would know. Who's a white guy that's athletic?
JJ Redick's the only one you can think of.
JJ Redick's not even athletic. He just shoots threes.
White man athletic. There's not a lot. Half of Steph Curry, I guess.
No. All right, but regardless, so they're playing well in the first half, and then they just shit the bed in the last 2 minutes of the second period. And second quarter, and then they just shit the bed from there, and they could just never get it going. They could cut it to like 7 or 8 points. VanVleet got a steal late where it could have, or OG got a steal late, and then VanVleet had a chance at a 3 to make it like a 4-point game with 2 minutes left. That would have been unreal if you made that. Didn't. This loss doesn't really affect my belief that the Raptors could still go to the finals this year. Would a lot have to break for them? Probably. I think if right now, if I look at the standings, Philly and Miami would play in the first round. So like that's sick. And then the second round it would be Toronto Boston, which is fine.
It's a tough road in the East, no matter who you are.
Fun. It's so fun though. Like just think of the Eastern Conference right now. Yeah. You're in the potential conference, semi-conference finals. Yeah. You would have Bucks, either Heat or 76ers, and then Raptors Celtics. We've been wanting the Raptors Celtics for fucking ever, and we've never got it. Because like the two cities don't like each other. The two teams don't like each other. It would be an awesome series. I fucking hate playing in Boston. I hate that crowd. It'd be. I want that to happen like really badly. And then like, so because of this Bucks game, they have Powell and Gasol still injured, and I think Gasol makes a world of a difference because Ibaka had his first bad game in like forever. Yeah. So that hurt a lot, and Gasol like opens up the entire offense, and then Powell he can make a bucket.
With this team, you need both bigs, and you need them rolling.
You do
if you want to be successful. Sure.
Even though Boucher played well, like he had that block on Giannis, then they dunked on Giannis, which was sick. Like it was 2 posters, but you just trust those 2 vets so much that like they're invaluable to the team. And basically, Serge he never had it going all game, and then he like really wore it. So that was brutal. And Gasol, like he opens up the entire offense with the way he can pass, and they missed that playmaking. And they missed just a big guy to just stuff in the paint against Giannis. And they OG fucking shut Giannis down. Like he shut him down. He only had like 19 points or something. And there was some shoddy calls that the refs made on Middleton where he got 2 fouls while shooting 3, so he got a 6 points for the free throw line, basically. So that was brutal. Also, the Raptors wouldn't lose to their floor sweeper. I thought that's the equivalent I have to David Ayers.
Jesus, that guy comes out and plays point guard for him.
Yeah. What do you think about everyone's being like, oh, because it's Toronto that they'll make a move now with the
man,
taking out the backup goalie.
That's so stupid.
What?
Like, just leave it. There's been what 4 emergency backups? Who cares?
Why not? Why not let someone that's in your press box?
Yeah.
Make them play goalie.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think that
they talk about this. Like, you mean like a scratch?
Yeah.
They talk about this on Chicklets, and it's just like honestly, there's a better like the emergency backup's probably going to do better than any player you put in there.
I understand that, but it's just a worse look.
The risk of them getting injured too is astronomically higher. If your e-bug gets hurt, you're like, oh, whatever, man. This guy wasn't even under contract.
But it's a bad look for the league.
It's fun, man. I don't know because everyone and their mother is talking about David Ayers this week. He was on Colbert. The I don't even know what his show's called, but he was doing interviews all around the world, doing all this stuff. There you go. Like the guy became a story, and this is the first time the NHL is getting like positive media attention in a long time. I think it's cool. It's an incredible story
to get noticed in the States.
Yep,
is the most. It was the weirdest fucking rule.
It was the same thing with Scott Foster last year, right? It was the same idea. They brought him in, and he became a story. It's cool, and I don't understand changing it. It's dumb.
Yeah. I just don't. It's not optically. It's not a good look. It's a cool story. Like I'm not taking that out of the question. It's just in was it Versteeg that was like you know, if your two quarterbacks get hurt for the Dallas Cowboys, the fucking accountant doesn't come play.
Yeah,
quarterback. Like, come on.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little different. Because like,
could you legitimately just be like 6 forwards?
You get. I mean, just those 8 shots that the Leafs took on Ayers would go in as opposed to just 2 of them.
True, but the Leafs didn't have the puck, so
it's fair. Maybe they get 4 shots. Either way, every shot you put on that net is going to go in. Ayers still made 6 saves.
You'd have like a defenseman just back there making saves.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
you're also heightening the risk of injury because you have to block shots with no pads.
Yeah,
I don't see a fix for the e-bug.
It's a tough fix. Like, I don't think that you should just hire guys as like, because then that's 31 of them that you need to have at every rink at all times. Like, I think that's just ridiculous.
What kind of caliber goalie are you gonna hire?
Like, the NHL, they didn't want a 42-year-old guy in that.
Who are you gonna bring in? All these other guys have professional jobs. Like, if they're not playing in the A or the E, they're going overseas and playing over there. Like, it's not easy to find a guy that wants to sit around on the press box.
I think it was just the league was pissed because it's a bad luck that just a random guy from the streets just came and won a game.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the only reason.
I think the NHL is ridiculous. I don't know why you're trying to change that. That's the only time people actually give a shit about your league.
Mm-hmm.
Let the people have fun.
Quickly, the road to 162-0 is on track for the Blue Jays. Still have. Oh wait, no, they did lose one of the games yesterday.
But that's okay. They don't count for the regular.
They've tied 2. Doesn't matter. Tied 2. Still
tied 2 now.
Yeah, they tied just now against the Twins.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So baseball backs, that's cool.
Yeah. I like it.
7 batters have been hit in 3 games for the Astros. Altuve, first at bat.
A couple of it was a curveball to the foot. So.
No, wasn't it? Well, Bregman got hit with a curveball in the back.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't hit him. You wouldn't hit a guy with a curveball if you're trying to hit him.
I feel like this might be the way around it because
is hit him with throw a curveball.
You're still hitting him. It's still 70-something miles an hour. You're taking that square in the back. It doesn't feel good.
No, you're right.
I mean, obviously, you're not humming 99 at the square in the back, but like you're still getting hit. Oh man, I could give it, like, if any Blue Jay this year decides I'm throwing as hard as I can at a Blue Jay or at a Astro and get suspended for it, I am congratulating him. I don't give a shit if you take suspension for that.
Yeah,
they earned
Nate Pearson comes up and Nate Pearson comes up and throws 103 in the back. Sorry, I'm a rookie. I just can't throw.
For hitting a guy with a pitch, for a guy that didn't get suspended for cheating the entire game of baseball, you need to resign as the fucking commissioner at that point.
I agree.
That is a joke.
So to finish it off, it was the Jeff Darlington thing where he basically said with Tom Brady, he'd be stunned if Brady stays with the Patriots.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's told people very close to him that he's leaving the Patriots.
He's open to looking for a new home, I heard.
Yeah.
I don't even know where I saw that, but
I don't know that there's a place.
Are you surprised?
No, meh.
I mean, realistically, last year the Patriots didn't do a damn thing for him.
No, they tried to draft receivers and stuff, but they can't do it. They suck at it. I thought this was all going to be just a ploy to get Belichick to get him actual player pieces around him.
Guys in.
Exactly. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Like I know they went after they got Josh Gordon the year before last, right? And then they tried to bring in Antonio Brown. They tried to bring in who's the guy that used to play for the Broncos? Or is it Broncos Jets?
No, Mohamed Sanu.
Or him. That's not who I was thinking. But they brought in Mohamed Sanu. The wide receiver they got rid of after Demaryius Thomas. Thank you. They brought in him. Like they're trying to give him pieces, but they did not.
They haven't fit.
No.
So I'm trying to think of teams like that are fits for him. I saw Indianapolis was out there. That would be so fucking weird.
That'd be a nice fit though.
It'd be really weird though.
The fact they were with Jacoby Brissett. Imagine putting Tom Brady.
It would just be so weird because like the history of like.
Yeah.
Oh well, now Peyton's not the greatest QB to ever play in her history.
Yeah, that's fair.
That'd be pretty funny.
A lot of like Chargers. I've heard. I don't know that I don't think that team is good enough.
The O-line sucks. All right, last thing before we go. It's a big game for the Leafs tonight. This is how big of a game it is.
Okay.
If the Leafs and Panthers playoff odds right now, 68% for the Leafs, 41 for the Panthers. 41 for the Panthers.
Okay.
If the Leafs win in regulation, it's up from 68 to 78. If they win in OT, it's up from 68 to 74. If they lose in OT, it's down from 68 to 64. If they lose in regulation, it's from 68 to 57. For the Panthers, so they have a 41%. If they win in regulation, it's up to 52. If they win in OT, 48. If they lose in OT, 37. If they lose in regulation, from 41 to 30. It's big. It's really big. And with that, that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next time for episode 50. Peace.